Social update, UG. We can defeat M23 in 24 hours, says Gen Elwelu, the Deputy Chief of Defense Forces in the UPDF. Lieutenant General Peter Elwelu has said that given opportunity, the East African Regional Force can wipe away M23 rebel group that is causing havoc in DRC in 24 hours. But don't forget that Rwanda and Uganda are being accused of supporting the M23 rebels. So who's fooling who? The Deputy Chief of Defense Forces in the UPDF, Lieutenant General Peter Elwelu, has said that given opportunity, the East African Regional Force can wipe away M23 rebel group that is causing havoc in DRC in 24 hours. If the ESC regional forces being deployed unanimously decides to push M23 back, it won't even take 24 hours. This they know very well, General Elwelu said. The Deputy CDF was on Thursday speaking to a European Union delegation at the Ministry of Defense headquarters in Lumbuye. The EU delegation headed by the senior advisor of the EU's foreign services on emerging threats in the Greater Lakes, Horn of Africa and Western Indian Ocean, Charles Stewart, had met General Elwelu to discuss a range of security issues, especially African Union Transition Mission in Somalia operations and in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Speaking to the group, General Elwelu said Uganda is and has always been ready to work with the DRC until all different negative forces are defeated. He noted that the Democratic Republic of Congo has granted the UPDF freedom and permission to operate in the country to bring the activities of the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, to one end, while the regional forces will deal with the rest of the groups. He, however, noted that there is need for concerted efforts by all players to help deal in the menace caused by M23 rebel group. The Deputy CDF said that the region needs to be proactive and come together to promote peace and security in the DRC, but this will be effective if the force worked with the international security and community. There is need to bring all the concerned parties and participants on board and engage in a dialogue as a unified force to cap down the enemy. Elwelu also underscored that this is not a one-man's battle, but rather East African states and the world at large, the European Union inclusive. We need logistical support as a regional force to be effective, because without it, it will not be easy to make an impact. On Somalia, Lieutenant General Elwelu said that a drawdown is still far out of reach if the gains of AMISOM turned items are to be realized. He, however, applauded the Somalian government and people for putting efforts to establish a credible army that will ensure peace and stability. After ATMIS, the EU representative Charles Stewart applauded Uganda for the humanitarian work that the Ugandan People's Defense Forces had done in the DRC over time. Uganda is a shining example of humanitarian support, and its refugee policy the best ever. Stewart said that the European Union seeks to achieve political dialogue and stability in the region with a strategic transitional plan of a roadmap for takeover in Somalia, but added that Somalia should be forthcoming in pursuing what they need and should see the EU as partners who are trying to help. He reiterated the need to create a roadmap to take over in terms of logistics, infantry forces, medical and signal capacity, among others. On DRC, Charles Stewart echoed EU's readiness to support the ESC regional forces in DRC in a border and holistic manner, including infrastructure and cross-border economic development to benefit the Congolese people and her neighbors. The EU representative was accompanied by the Deputy EU Ambassador to Uganda, Glaume Chatrain, Uganda's EU Head of Public Diplomacy and Diaspora, Titus Serugo, among others. On the Ugandan side, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson, Colonel Deo Akik, and Colonel Christopher Chanku from Office of the Chief of Defense Forces attended a M23 menace. In the past weeks, there has been renewed fighting between M23 rebels and the DRC government forces of FADRC in the eastern part of the country. The rebel group has since cut off some of the border towns between Uganda and DRC. However, the Congolese were protesting and they were saying that Uganda and Rwanda are the ones supporting M23 and they want their armies to be out of their country, and they say that soon they will be doing what they did to Rwanda, to Uganda. Things like blocking the Ugandan airlines from flying above their airspace, and maybe even expelling the Ugandan ambassador from Kinshasa. So that is it. Who's fooling who? Who's telling the truth? Just tell me what you think in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button. Peace.